Now, if you grew up listening to classic rock like I did, I know there's a part of you that wants to sound like Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, we all do. And the problem is, Jimi Hendrix was out of this world, and it's kind of really hard. But there are certain techniques that we can use from Jimi Hendrix that were not actually that hard. And once you understand how it works, it's pretty easy to add it into your own soloing. If I was to simplify this concept in just 3 steps, I would say it would be this. You're going to play 2 notes at the same time, then you're going to hammer only one of those notes, and then you're just going to play those 2 original notes again. 3-step process. Doesn't sound too hard. We just need to know or memorize where those convenient places are to do it. So let's say we are in A minor pentatonic. It's here, right? The beautiful thing about this pentatonic shape is it has all these notes on the 5th fret in the key of A, all on the 5th fret, right? So it's like a straight line here. And what that allows us to do, or Jimi Hendrix to do, is to lay a finger down here, just a kind of a small bar. We're not going to bar the whole thing, but we're going to keep a kind of a small bar moving along so that with our pick, we can play 2 notes at once. So for example, I'm just going to play, that's the D and G strings. That's step 1, and step 2 I said was do a hammer-on, right? So here's the hammer-on. Now we hear the 2 notes, and we hear 1 note change. That's kind of the magic, right? So in this case, I'm hammering on the G string. I'm playing the D and G, but I'm hammering the G. Or I could hammer the D, still holding the same 2 strings. Sounds pretty cool. And then just play the 2 notes again without it being hammered. So it's... It's so easy in this pentatonic shape because we could do this lick hammering the G string, hammering the D string, hammering the A string. In this pentatonic lick, it's so easy because all those notes are right there. 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7. That's pretty sweet. And then maybe just hit a root. If we're in A minor, it's there. So we have... And that's pretty cool. Now you can just incorporate that into whatever soloing you're doing. If you're playing an A minor, you might have a bunch of licks that you like. Suddenly, it's already starting to sound a bit like Jimi. And it's not that hard. It will take some practice with your right hand, with your pick, because what you have to do is you have to get used to more of a sweeping motion, right? Because we're not being specific now with the pick. And I think generally it's all downstrokes. Certainly that's what I'm doing here. Okay, so now let's move it up because there are lots of more opportunities to do this same concept. And if we just move up to what I call the extension shape of A minor pentatonic, which is up here. You know, the one that we often slide to just above our easy shape. That gives us several more opportunities to do this same kind of technique. The shape is different, so we have to be aware of that shape as we're doing these hammer-ons, but it works out great. It's still not hard, especially on the top 2 strings. If I'm here, really easy because those frets are 8, 10, 8, 10. So we might be playing A minor pentatonic and we might slide up into that shape like we often do, right? Sounds pretty good. Let's add the original ones we did, slide up to the extension shape, and do the high ones. Okay, now you ready for some more? As we move through this extension shape, it does get a little bit more tricky to memorize because we have to navigate the fact that the G and the B strings here, the notes in the shape don't line up. But you know what? That's partly also what's so cool about it. If we take, let's say we take this E note, which is 9th fret of the G string, that's that extension shape, right? And I hold that E with my second finger, and I'm gonna hold this G with my first finger, and I'm gonna hammer the third finger like this. It's very comfortable. If anything, it's actually kind of easier. You just have to picture it to find it when you need it. Right? That's a nice combination. And what's important to get good at these is you've got to use them in context. So you can play them with a jam track. I've put some tabs on my website with a bunch of these licks that you can download so that you can use them with jam tracks. The link to that is below. And remember that now, whenever you're moving up into that extension shape, you've got these little Jimi Hendrix ornaments, we could call them. Very moody and cool sounding, right? It sounds much more complicated than it really is because we're still just picturing the pentatonic shape and we're just using a bit of a bar here on the 5th fret, or we're thinking ahead of the shape of the extension shape and we're being a bit kind of sweepy here rather than being very specific with our pick, right? Okay, so let's do the next one that I love to do, and this one is, it feels like the opposite of the previous one. Because basically, if you're picturing where this easy shape and the extension shape join, we can play the notes at that joint in a sense, right? So basically, I have my first finger on D on the G string, that's 7th fret, and I have my second finger on that G that we had before. And now we've got this shape. And now my hammer is going to be the 3rd finger. We could do a whole series of them. Maybe that would be excessive. I don't know. Actually, Hendrix does kind of do this in some of his songs, like Little Wing. Not exactly this, I mean, but like a series of this kind of 2 notes and hammer thing. That sounds good to me. Maybe it's too much in some situations, but maybe as an intro to something, it'd be great. So try to think of them as individual licks that you throw in wherever you want. Individual lick meaning just one small piece of it. Or try to think of them as a series of licks, depending on how far you want to go with it. Let's start maybe just here. Now, one final thing that makes these Hendrix licks so useful is just a little bit of music theory magic, and that is that every minor key is a major key. So far we've been thinking about the key of A minor, but A minor is the same as C major. Or you could use what I call the first finger pinky rule, right? When I use my easy pentatonic shape and I have A, my first finger on A, and play my easy shape, it's A minor pentatonic. But wherever my pinky is, in this case, it's on C. So if my pinky is on C and I play the easy shape, I have C major pentatonic. It's like it's the same thing. It's kind of mind-blowing. But the context will be different. Because in the key of C major, we'll be hearing a lot of C major chords, right? Maybe C, F, and G. And now, this series of notes has a different character because I'm listening to the happy. And you'll notice that now my root is there at pinky, right? So let's take the lick from my video, The Most Useful Lick I Ever Learned, and we'll play this C bar chord here. That's the most useful lick I ever learned. And then it puts me right in this shape where I get to do all my Hendrix ornaments. can hear now the context is no longer the moody A minor. It's the kind of peppy, I don't know, nostalgic, happy, nice sounding C major. All these high ones work as well. The high ones in this case in major are really useful because now this is my C major chord is right here, and all these high ones in what we call the extension shape are right at the top of that. And that leads us to my one final favorite Hendrix-like lick where we're adding the sus4 that's right at the top of that C shape. Love it. It's the same kind of concept, we're just hammering to a sus4. So remember, I've got tabs on my website for you. The link is below. You can download those to practice this concept. My name is Blue Morris, and I'm going to do a video here for you every Saturday. I'm going to put a video on the screen here for you for my channel. Please check it out. I'll see you next week.